Yeah.
Ah, we've got this recorded. It's good.
Might as well throw it up. I'm halfway through Brian's YouTube. It's good stuff. Yeah,
With
yeah,
that woman.
yeah,
I'm sure it's nothing you haven't heard before.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, right. But for me, it was like, I mean, I've been hearing little pieces here and there from like you and from his Instagram, but I've never experienced him sit down for over an hour and just like just
No,
send it. He just
yeah,
sent it. And
yeah.
that lady just sits there and she's just like trying to absorb as much as she can. And like it's pretty it's good.
Yeah, she has like three questions. Like the whole thing. If you let Brian go, he'll just go, and it's
He'll
great
just go, man.
because he's all talking from experience too, which is
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah,
No, it's amazing. And it's no doubt that like I mean, I know you're feeling the same things that he's feeling, you're feeling too, which is amazing. And I felt that. And it was part of the reason that I gravitated towards you, I think, because I could feel that same energy. Now I did ask Brian, I
I
commented on it.
saw that.
Did you see that?
I did. What was the comment again? It was something about oh yeah, weed, right? Yeah.
Well, did you that's what he said
Yeah.
in his post. He said like smoking weed. And so I said, I respect what you post, but I think I said, you may be missing the new science of the endocannabinoid system. And he responded like, he responded that it's a trap, that you don't
Yeah.
need, that we produce it completely in our own body, which is true. It is true. But, there's also a ton of evidence that is showing that supplementing from the outside, giving the system more, is incredible for like the way it all functions. And so it is valuable. I do believe that it's valuable. It's been incredibly valuable for my own experience.
Yeah.
And but I respect where he's coming from too. I have no problem with that. I think it's
Yeah. So it's interesting how like things are evolving in general in terms of the holistic health spaces and how all these different modalities and all these different tools and techniques can help us kind of ascend faster
Mhm.
almost. And he's doing it from a place where he's trying to reduce the amount of things in general that he's using to as he's trying to produce it from within as
Yes.
opposed to being stimulated in any capacity because
Right.
he has 50 years of stimulation.
Yeah.
But like you said, there's so much more that people are learning about that can help, like even on like in terms of a biomechanical thing, like or like a direction or like some of the stuff that movement and Eric are talking about or whatever, like
Yeah.
using certain techniques to push against certain muscles to activate those certain muscles to then internally like work on how to make new neurological connections between those parts of our bodies in order to access more of the breath hold or more of like it's there's so many fun pieces and creativity within these modalities that can sort of just be, I think, part of the healing process. And if we look at it through that lens, then it's not viewed as a stimulation.
Mm.
It's viewed as more of like a part of us or a
Yeah.
part of the world or part of the energy of the healing vibration and frequency that we're bringing.
You gotta talk to me a little bit about what you've been getting in with Eric, because I've heard you a few times say that. you and Eric have been working together, and he's working with another guy named MoveMed,
Yeah.
and you guys are coming up with some pretty cool things.
Yeah, so some of the stuff that he's been talking about in general is a lot of rib cage expansion and holding that expansion. And
Mhm.
then the other one is degastric. He calls it like a degastric muscle, but everything that Brian says about muscles is that they're not, there's no such thing as a muscle. It's really just fascia, which
Yeah.
is, so I coined the term the degastric muscle swallow, which is you basically take your fist and you push it up above your Adam's apple, and you kind of find that where your chin meets your neck,
Mhm.
and you press up against it and swallow and create suction and tongue pressure. So create a mew sensation, and it just amplifies the suction and pressure of your tongue and your mew, which then opens up the floor of the nasal cavity that much more, which allows you to produce that much more nitric oxide, which then allows you to hit those endothelial tissues in the deeper parts of our bodies and find more healing. And that's just one example of it. The rib cage and stuff is something I've been playing around with in my own space, because like I don't think movement or Eric are really diving as deep into the max breath holds as I am,
Mhm.
um just in terms of like pushing myself and stuff.
Yeah.
uh but when we recognize that the diaphragm is the muscle, or the not the muscle, the fascia that we're training through the breath and that we're targeting with CO2 and nitric oxide to expand and contract, or just like create more flexibility and elasticity and just become that conductor of light and energy and frequency. We want it to be able to do as much of its job as it can within the space that's available. So if we can create a bigger structure for it, literally by moving our ribs. So like when you inhale and you inhale through the perineum and you expand outwards laterally in the back and the front and the sides, and then expand up into the rib cage as well, you're still creating more space for it. And then if you can hold that structure with that tensegrity of the expansion of that breath, take a passive exhale while still maintaining that structure, pinch and hold, what are you able to do then with the fascia that you've created that structural connection with? And then I've also been connecting that structure with light awareness of the dantians and
Mhm.
the fascia surrounding the energy points in our system. So it's not locking the energy. It's because you can do a tight perineum squeeze, and that's
Right.
going to lock that up and not let energy flow through it. It's just a light, maybe like a light mu, like a 20% mu. So we have that awareness of our tongue on the roof of our mouth. We're not letting the belly distend. So that's got light, pressure and awareness and struck and like like I've shown my stomach on camera like a bunch of times in the past week and a half, but it's like not, you're letting your stomach distend. So it's like pulling your bundus kind of up. I can show you if you like. I think you know what I mean, right?
Well, so this seems like there's a very subtle difference between activating the bundas in the way that you're talking about it and like a squeezing of the perineum up and the squeezing of the abdomen in and
Yeah,
even
so it's
maybe
not
like not a locking down of the neck either.
correct. Yeah, so it's just establishing a light connection for the flow of energy to recognize the path. Because
Mhm.
if one is completely disconnected from that energy, or that that center point, then where's the energy going to flow? If they have no neurological connection to it, if they have no baseline feeling, proprioceptive neuromuscular connection, PNF. If they don't have that, then how are they going to allow energy to flow through it? How are they going to allow the chi to flow through it? So the chi can't find the energy path because it doesn't have the connection from the brain to that point. So it can't flow into the diaphragm, and it can't utilize the diaphragm as its purpose and its job, which essentially comes down to controlling the speed of the breath. Damn, Raymond, you really know how to pull it out of me.
Yeah, dude, all of that stuff
Yeah.
you're saying totally resonates. I have been experimenting more with those light engagements, and this is something that the cannabis has really helped me with because the cannabis has receptors all over the body,
Hmm.
and it makes you more connected or sensitive to the signals from inside your body. So the interoceptive sense, it amplifies that. And that's why I prefer to do my breath holds when I've either. So he also made a point that smoking cannabis is going to hurt your lungs and your breath capacity and all of that, which I also see is true. But he didn't acknowledge the fact that there's so many edible forms now. Like I have all these tinctures, and so I think my digestive system will be perfectly fine, taking that in. And at the same time, there hasn't been very much evidence, not like cigarettes, that smoking cannabis will actually give you long-term problems. So in the long term, it
Yeah.
hasn't been shown to give the type of side effects. So
So with the tinctures that you're talking about, are they um where are you sourcing them from, and what is there any specific energies around the cultivation of the plant as well as the like because he talks about a lot about the food and the scalar around it and like all that stuff. So I'm curious if you're tapping into that any of that type of energy.
totally. Totally, and I appreciated what he shared about the merino phytoplankton that I've heard from you.
Got my jar right here.
What's what he mentioned two websites. Which one do you get yours from?
So it's Ascended Health.
You get yours from the Ascended Health
Yeah.
because because they absorbed frequencies from dolphins mating and then projected into the.
Yeah, dolphins and whales playing, mating, and like, yep. Oh yeah, big time. It's love, dude. It's love. It's
That's
pure love.
man, that's amazing.
It
So
I'm on my, when did I get it? Fourth or fifth month using it,
yeah,
and it's changed so much about my life, dude.
you gotta tell me about this.
I can't speak highly enough of um this food. And I've been looking into getting potentially some scalar technology as well because I see so much about it on from different Telegram groups, from that guy, the Black Airbender,
The
um,
Black Airbender.
who like hasn't eaten food in like fucking, I don't know, 6 or 7 years or something.
Yeah.
Um, and he does like crazy stuff with scalar energy and water and vibrations and stuff. It's very cool. It's scalar energy works on 0 point energy. Are you familiar with any of that?
0 point energy as like the highest probability, like very like pure potential sort of energy, like electron, like very small, uncertain. Okay.
Pure potential energy. Yes, exactly. So it works from a point of like the 0 point, and you can bring yourself back to the 0 point at any time, and it's your choice to be at a certain frequency. So like your ability to go back to zero and not compare the past or the future or think about any of that and be in the present moment like starts to become easier
Yeah.
on a daily basis.
With this, what you're talking about with the phytoplankton.
So I utilize two different, and I took my necklace off because I showered this afternoon, but I use the biogeometry necklace. I'm sure you've seen me wear it in like a bunch of my videos and stuff.
Mm.
That gold necklace, it's also 0 point energy. So it is in term in like in a similar way, it's 0 point energy as well. But this is like, yeah, this is using like certain frequencies, certain energy ways to clear subtle energy blocks and to like stop certain negative frequencies from entering certain energy channels within the body, but also just like the food itself goes through your whole system. So it's like it's working through all of your organs.
Yeah.
I'd say like some of the biggest changes, dude, it's elevating my consciousness. So
And you take it once a day, and you don't take like that much of it. You just take what
I
they.
so it depends on the day, depends how much detoxing I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because I am experimenting with right now I'm on a new herbal protocol with a new herbologist and he wants me to take new herbs and hop on a new diet and stuff. I'm still trying to find what works for me in within this first couple weeks of doing it.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't necessarily want me on fruit because there's still a virus in my system that is feeding off of the fruit. Um, so, but at that same time, you know, there are other parts of my body that require healing as well, and that can do the healing that they need to do on the herbs with the fruit. So I need to just balance out, I think using, and Brian doesn't like using other supplements, but I think in my case there are certain ones that will help me.
Yeah.
Specifically like chromium, which helps with the glucose uptake, and CoQ10. There's like a few other ones that I'm also lacking in terms of what my body composition kind of needs. Like literally, I need more vitamin D. I haven't. I just need it.
Dude, Boston, man.
Yeah,
You guys
yeah.
don't get too much sun out there, but
No, the past 3 or 4 days it's just been incredible, dude. I've literally just gone outside and laid in the sun with my shirt off. I needed for like 2 hours the other day, and I just like
oh,
there,
okay.
like a podcast on or something in my back area. I need to get. I wish I had a space where I could just kind of do some genital sunning,
Oh
but
my God. Totally, dude.
I have so luckily I have the way the sun hits my window in the morning gives me about an hour's worth of direct sunlight. So that's how I've been trying to wake up. If it's sunny out that day, I like literally just open my eyes and I don't stare directly into the sun, but I try and
Yeah,
let my body get hit by all of it.
totally.
But yeah, back to the whole kind of scalar and like all of that energy that I've been taking in for like 3 or 4 months now. It's and he talks a little bit about this too. Like as you start to clear your body and your all these toxins and stuff, your brain starts to function at higher capacities.
Mhm.
Dude, I can't tell you my ability to learn things is
Yeah,
important. Like the amount of information I'm downloading. Like I'll scan something, I'll read something, but I'll actually take it in
yeah,
and like not just take it in. Sometimes I don't even need to take it in. I just need to see it, or I just need like I can be shown certain things or listen to certain things, and the way um my brain stores little bits of information and then makes those neurological connections later are like what I'm kind of considering as like downloads almost. because I don't know where, like, people talk about downloads, from the cosmic universe or
Yeah,
whatever, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
But that doesn't come from nothing. Like, you can't just like get ancestral wisdom sitting and do, like, I don't know, maybe you can. And
Well,
sometimes I take that back.
wait.
I take that back. Because I do find so much wisdom when I am in my breath holds and like the way my brain works in that aspect. But I am pulling it from, like, I don't know, stimulation or something. Like, there is wisdom within that. But like in terms of learning, um, it's definitely improving things and
Well,
making new neurological connections, which can help with the downloads because
you
my brain is firing on multiple cylinders.
you were mentioning the 0 point work, or the way that it clears your system, which is very cool. And that's sort of the goal of meditation. A lot of different meditation techniques is to like re-enter that state, that 0 point state, where it's pure potential. It's awareness of awareness, which I'm sure you're very familiar with.
Mhm.
Just making your own awareness, exploring your own awareness. That has shown to be like a deeply correlated with um, 40 hertz frequency.
Okay. 40.
40,
Okay.
supposedly, from what I've read. And this one man is, and a lot of people are coming up with this, but they're taking the principles of quantum physics and trying to map it onto the mind, the human mind, since I look at our body as like having these major, all of the chakras, especially our brain, are these like vortices of where energy is actualized. And it's like it's coming from, have you heard of the quantum vacuum?
I feel like I've heard of it, but remind me what your definition of it,
The
or like,
quant
yeah, go
What
ahead.
I've read is that the quantum vacuum is the formless space of all form. And it's a mathematical space. It's proven to exist. And it's where there's actually, it's not energy that's there. It's not made up of energy, but it is where energy comes from. And it starts near zero. It's literally in this pure plane of possibility. And then because you can track how the probability ratio of like a photon, and you can see that it's in high probability, it's not there yet, it's still in this wave function, and then slowly it starts to increase, and then it becomes actualized, it becomes a particle or something that we can observe.
Mm,
But like there's this whole space, and so they're mapping this onto the mind and saying that we have the ability in something like pure awareness, where you become aware of your own mind, you can become very aware of your the knowing aspect of mind is basically what it is. You basically become just this plane of knowing rather than being sucked up into all the knowns on the rim. You know what I'm saying? So instead of being like, my attention is driven into you right now, and you're on like the rim of my experience, you're a known, I know you, but there's a knowing part of my consciousness that knows you, and it's like tapping into that space is the near zero. And a mood or a feeling or an emotion, our mood might be like 50% up, and then emotion is like 75, and then it actualizes into a feeling that I have. Something that, it's It's
Yeah.
very cool. I'm not doing a great job
No,
explaining.
I understand.
Yeah,
I totally get it. There's like
yeah,
the unmanifested into the manifested through the
yeah.
blueprint of the mind. And
Exactly.
yeah.
And I see that as not only like we're able to create this phenomenon and observe it happening here, but it's also, I believe, happening throughout like all the energy centers of the body. And like you're doing, this is blowing me away with all these different ways to clear your whole system. Because I think with the research that I read a lot of the meditation research that people are doing now, and it's so brain focused. It's so focused on the brain, and a lot of them forget about the body as a whole, and even the body in relationship to each other, and seeing the self is something that's fully embodied, not just the brain, but the self is fully embodied, and it's also relational with other people and trees and plants and everything.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But I really, that's why I love where you're coming from and where Brian's coming from, because it's so much more embodied. It's like,
It's 100% holistic
yeah.
because it includes the full body, and the full body, because we're in the 3D space, so we have to include the full body. And that includes the three lower chakras,
Mm,
which, like, yes, we can talk about the awareness of the awareness, and that's, like, we can get higher with that in terms of our chakras, or our I forget what the what's it called? There's like the three different zones in Ayurveda, or Ayurvedic. Hold on. They're called, I just want to make sure I know what I'm talking about.
hmm
What is it? Katie would know. But there's like the upper, the mid, and the kind of like, yeah. So anyway, the you said a couple things that were just like fascinating to me that I wanted to reflect back to you. So like, you're talking about clearing out like these different frequencies, and they have to be cleared out in order, like, especially the lower three have to be cleared out in order for the upper three to ascend, or to function at that those higher capacities. And it's been wild for me in particular because I released that parasite which was blocking my sacral chakra, and then my sacral chakra got completely cleared on a like 13 generations of energy on a chiropractor's quantum chiropractor's table
Wow.
when I was in New York, literally on the start of the New Earth New Year, which was 3/22/23. Like,
Okay.
and then he said all my chakras were aligned.
Wow.
And so I've been sitting with this energy for about a month now, about through 3.5 weeks, and understanding how the structure of my whole body makes a difference in terms of clearing the alignment. Like, the spine being decompressed has such an effect on digestion, lymphatic flow. Like, the breath in combination with that also helps digestion, lymphatic flow. There's a reason why everyone's blocked on the root and sacral chakras and they can't get out of it, is because they're stuck in the front chain. They're literally, like, it's so, and then their hearts can't be open because their shoulders are locking them in the front chain. It's like, it's all of this body stuff that's if you open up your body in certain ways, and if you open up the diaphragm, which is the way to release some of the stuff and know the structure of everything, it's going to allow you to embody all of those chakras and become aligned, and allow, and even more than that, you're taking out the garbage of your body, you're cleaning the body, but more than that too, you're also accessing the emotional body and its relationship with the pain body and its relationship with the fascia and the tissue, and how to detox the lymph and the fascia, and the fascia through light, energy, and frequency and vibration, through the breath and through the movement and through the food and all of this stuff. And it allows you to kind of get higher. But
Yes.
like, yeah, it's like, dude, when I eat, I eat very slowly now. I eat with controlled breath. When I talk slowly with controlled breath. I make sure my energy's not escaping my body, but it's more circulating through my system. But the stuff that I am consuming that needs to get cleared, including the emotional things, the emotional like every piece of emotion that comes, like, so certain parts of my body and my design are open, which means I can potentially take on somebody else's energy or emotion. And I've learned that through like human design, and
Right.
my awareness of the awareness of that is shifting in how I accept energy and like look at energy. So I'm able to step into my masculine, which allows me to just hold space for people, as well as just create this space in general, but also allows me to become a conduit or like a better healer in general, where some people don't need you to respond or don't need you to take on their energy. They just need to release it around you, or release it in general, have the no fear around releasing it, so it can be expressed in some way, whether it's laughing or crying, whatever it is, and then it can get just flushed out. And I've been experiencing a lot of that lately. And yeah, with the food and the like all of it. And then just like being in 0 point continuously through those processes, and not holding attachment to anything prior, or like learning how to accept information, accept emotion, accept energy, and let it flow through. And I'm kind of repeating myself here, but like, you know what I mean?
Oh, I know what you mean. It was beautiful what you just said.
Yeah.
Was beautiful. Spoken as a true healer. Spoken from a person who is familiar with trauma in the body.
Yeah.
That's what
So
we're
you
talking
mentioned
about.
something freaking awesome that I had to just jot down here. You said 0 point energy is the formless space of all form.
Right.
Like, that is fantastic, because form is masculine, formless is feminine. And so it's embodying 0 point energy from the masculine and the feminine in and of it, like the one becoming like the zero. Like, I was like, yes, I'm so glad he said that. That's so cool.
Good. I'm glad that made a connection for you.
Yeah. I gotta like write a post about that or something. 0 point energy. It's really cool. Somebody told me about 0 point energy recently, and they used a really, really good analogy, which I actually shared here on the last like little podcast that I did, or I'm calling this a podcast. It's just, I don't know. Just conversations.
You should make it into a podcast.
I mean, it pretty much is. I got a YouTube channel going, and it's like, it's just not being I haven't gone through it and edited some of the stuff, or whatever. It's just on my YouTube stuff, which is in my Telegram right now. So there's like, this will be like the 6th episode or something. But the analogy that he used, that this guy was talking about, is if you're at 0 point energy, and say you're 20 years old and you've been a vegan your entire life, or like, you've eaten a certain type of food your entire life, you've never had a donut before. This donut's going to be 0 point energy for you, right? It's going to be donut A. it's gonna be donut A from Krispy Kreme, and you're gonna eat it, and whatever, you're gonna be fine. Like physically, it's not it's not a bad thing to eat this donut, and you're gonna enjoy it, and it's gonna be unbelievable. And then the next day, somebody's gonna give you potentially or not somebody's gonna potentially, but somebody's gonna give you a Dunkin' Donuts donut, and now that donut is what? It's donut B, and donut B compares to donut A. But if you do 0 point energy, or you focus on being in 0 point energy, or you bring your awareness to the awareness of 0 point energy, that donut becomes donut A again, because you're not comparing it to the past, and you're just eating it out of pure the moment.
But the body keeps the score. So the body's got to take that in, right? I mean, you can think whatever you'd like about it, but it's still gonna give the body what it's gonna give the body.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like a perception around it. There is a memory of it, but the emotion behind it doesn't have to carry.
I hear that. I hear that. I think that is so true.
There, like, yeah, that's a good point. That the memory of it is still there, and it's something that's
I mean,
ingrained. Yeah.
you've experienced, like, especially now that you are eating so well, that if you do eat something that isn't so great, the body is upset. The body is extremely upset. I feel that, like, if I would eat a dessert with my family before I go to bed, like, my body's gonna be pissed, and I'm gonna, like, notice that difference because I don't usually do that.
Hmm. So the way I view that type of food now,
Yeah.
is with an understanding of how my body knows how to cleanse it.
Yeah.
And so you have to take your time when you're cleansing these things. The body needs more time to cleanse denser and unhealthier foods. So it's like, you can vibrate and you can move and you can do all these things at these higher frequencies if you're eating healthy, if you're thinking and doing all this stuff. And you have to understand that it's going to take a little bit of cognition away from you, or like whatever it is. It's going to slow down your digestive tract. But there are also ways to speed up the detoxification process.
Breath holds.
Breath holds.
That's easy.
Breath holds. Or go make a little like I have this drink that I love doing, because if I eat too many nuts, or if I whatever it is, if I'm feeling slow and I want to empty my system out, just clean it out, I'll squeeze a lemon, put a little bit of warm water in it, throw some ginger, some turmeric, and some cayenne pepper, and I'll drink that in the morning. And that thing clears me out. Cayenne pepper, it has vasodilation properties to it.
Wow.
Ginger helps with the stomach, turmeric helps with inflammation, and then lemon is a detoxifying citrus. So
Yeah.
it's like I just boom. And then I wait until my body, like literally, like I wait until I shit a couple times before I eat again.
Yeah.
I wait until my stomach becomes empty before I put anything else in it.
Yeah.
And then we can realize, what is giving me energy? What types of energy do I need from food? Like, really, what types of energy do I need to heal? Do I need to eat more of this type of food with higher antioxidants to get better sleep? Like, what is my sleep okay? Do I need more? I don't know, something that produces more cortisol, something that produces different hormones. What am I working with in terms of what my body is lacking? And it's interesting because there is an emotional connection and a spiritual connection and language connection to all of these different things that our body does need. There's like even within the gene keys, they talk about specific amino acids that correlate to different emotions and different gene keys in general, and then how to transmute them. So eat your gene key with something that is high in this, like whatever it is. Like we're gonna get as soon as we start learning these languages, we're gonna know so much more about how to navigate with these bodies in this world, and then know how to help other people do the same thing. We're going to start to communicate in these ways that are way past like what is available in terms of knowledge now. It's so freaking cool. It's stepping into 5D.
Have you heard the book The Telomere Effect?
No.
There's a ton of science now about like how practicing meditation or exercise or things like that will literally transform the telomeres in your DNA. Next with the gene keys so much, and I'm sure the breath holds and the mucus-free diet and all those other things of doing
Yeah.
the same exact thing. Yeah, but there's two times that I notice a big change in my breath, because I've been really, really like adamant obsessed about the breath holds, because they are so good, because they just like they transform my experience in a few minutes, and it's unbelievable. But if I teach a class, or if I teach two classes in a row, because I'm talking a lot, I'm moving around, and I'm trying to like have everyone hear me, I'm answering questions, I'm just talking and moving the whole time. And I will literally feel at the end of it like my throat is a bit sore, and like I can just tell my CO2 levels are like way down.
Yep.
And the only thing I want to do is close my mouth and do breath holds. That's all I want to do. And the other time is if I've eaten too much, or if I've eaten meat, that will do it. That'll definitely make me feel like I'll go do a breath hold, and like my bolt would be like 12, or like, it's something crazy where right now when I test my bolt, it's always above 25. It ranges from like 25 to 35, right around there. But then if I'm like talking a lot, or if I eat something that is just a lot of work for my body to break down, then I can feel it just drop like that. And it makes me want to like, number one, it makes me want to stop doing those things that are making my bolt go down. But in another sense, like what you talked about, how now the breath is just flowing with the way that you're speaking, and it doesn't feel like you're giving your energy away, but you're just allowing it to cycle. And I just need to, I think, also learn how to do that, because it's not like I can stop talking completely. I don't want to stop teaching either. So I just need to learn how to like integrate the breath, and it's a slow process. It's a lot of the times I'll start to talk really fast. I'll notice my breath, so I start to lose my breath. And so I will consciously take 3 or 4 deep breaths and not say anything at all in the middle of class, but just to find like a center again.
Intentional pauses
Yeah.
with deep breaths make a huge difference.
Yeah.
Also, tone.
Mm.
Tone and resonance. This is something I've been playing around with a lot too. Humming in, I talked about inhaling and increasing the size of the chest. So try increasing that space and then humming in that space. And do exhaled hums and do them from a place of resonance. So do them as low as you can and increase the resonance of that space, and like allow the slowness, like try and think like exhale, hum like as loud as you, and as low and as long as you can.
Mhm.
And doing that like first thing in the morning, or like right after your breath holds, or like if you're doing cadence to recover, you can do it like every sixth breath, or like just, I honestly did like a table like a couple weeks ago where I did, instead of like breathing in 4 out 6, I just breathed in, exhaled, hummed, breathe in, exhale, hum, breathe in, exhale, hum. And my voice has been getting lower.
Mhm.
Like people are like, wow, sound way lower. Yeah, I listened to a YouTube video I recorded like 4 or 5 months ago. My voice is way lower.
That's
Like
amazing.
I was like, what? That doesn't sound anything like me. I mean, like if I like bring my voice up like this, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like that. And that means my bolt score was higher.
Mm.
It's funny because I I notice, I am speaking more from a place of authenticity as well when my tone of voice is down. I'm
Mm.
not questioning myself. I'm
Mm.
There's like certain frequencies and energy around speaking at a lower tone that bring on more just vibrational truths.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel that. I totally feel that. I want to come back to you talking about with the rib cage expansion.
Mm-hmm. Do you want me to show you what I mean?
Yeah, you can show me what you mean. But this is the tangerine breathing that we are experimenting with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hold on. Got my OA sweatshirt on right now too.
Rocking it.
Yeah, rocking it.
That's
So basically, when we breathe, we want this to be connected. We don't want to distend the belly, so we want that to be. That's like holding your posture's holding you. When this is engaged, your posture's holding you. Keeps popping up. This is kind of like always pulled up. This part of my body, and like that, like I talk about massaging this area. I talk about this the psoas. There's like that joke. I'm like,
yeah.
the psoas is here, and it connects to the diaphragm, and it connects to the lower chakras, and it's like 2 inches over from the belly button, 1 inch down. It like feeds in, but like
Okay.
these spots right here, breathing into them and finding pain, like literally as hard, like almost as hard as you can. Try and do one at a time. Do it like when you're laying down.
Yeah.
Getting that fascial release is like a huge part of like just kind of integrating this as a part of your posture. But that's a whole different thing. Anyway, the the thing I'm talking about in terms of the breath up here. So when I start my inhale, I breathe low into, like literally into my hips, into the lowest part of my body. And then we're breathing up into the chest, right? Hold on, I'm gonna take another breath.
Mhm.
So we're maintaining this structure now. And you can see it's higher. There's more space here. So
Mhm.
like when I exhale, it doesn't, it like it's just sitting. This is me kind of just sitting with it. So now it's up here, but my shoulders didn't raise at all. I'm not holding tension up here. they're just up. And when I exhale, they're still up. So it's allowing all this space that I've laterally expanded to, like, the fascia contracts and creates more space in between the diaphragm and those outer rib muscles. So it's like I'm making that neurological connection to the sides. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And lateral rib expansion is how we should be. It's such an important measure in terms of oxygen advantage and what they teach, and like it's so important in terms of our like everyday breathing mechanics, because if we're supposed to be breathing so much so that we like are barely feeling our breath. And so if we don't have access to these, we're breathing in the front or even in the back too much. We need lateral 360 horizontal rib expansion. So it's really essential to utilize this space. See how I exhaled?
Yeah, right. When you exhale.
And now I'm engaging this part. Now I hold my breath. So it's creating a bigger structure. It's creating more form. It's literally creating more form. Oh, man. We're creating more space. We are like essentially creating, yeah, that's the idea.
So when after you've inhaled and you've created that expansion, the way that you're maintaining it is by like pulling up from below.
And I'm also like the deeper other cues that you can do are the tailbone to crown. So like I'll be, for example, hold on, let me see if I can get my whole camera in here. I don't know if this is so like find your spine. You don't want to curl, you don't want to too much anterior, posterior.
Right. You want rib cage pelvis stacked.
Yep.
Wow, dude.
As opposed to, so we're fully like nothing's engaged right now. Actually, now nothing's engaged.
Yeah.
If we were to do breathe in, breathe out here, our diaphragm doesn't have enough space to fully do like, or like not enough space, but it can have more space.
Right. I see what you're saying. I see what you're getting at with this.
It's just like it's just something I'm playing around with and learning intuitively. Like I don't think anybody in an oxygen advantage is talking about it. I don't know if anybody in even Brian's circles are talking. I know Brian knows about it intuitively he knows about it.
Yeah.
He's been a coach. Like he knows about it in his own body. But like a lot of people coming from a place of like I'm coming from a place of like I didn't know about biomechanics. I didn't know about all this stuff a few years ago. I'm just learning about it now. And I'm combining different modalities. I'm all about that, you know.
Heck yeah, dude. It
But
doesn't get any better than combining modalities.
that's like something that allowed me to hit a 3 minute and 30 second bolt, or not bolt, but breath hold.
Oh my god.
3 minutes, 36 seconds. And
That is ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous, dude.
I could have gone longer. I should have gone longer. I just kind of let go because I felt like it.
Yeah, I feel you, dude. I've honestly since getting with you and having my longest breath hold, which was it was like 2 minutes 40 seconds with you. I mean I've gotten up above 2 minutes during my practices, but for the most part, I'm getting the sense from my body that like higher numbers, higher the more that I do the breath holds, but not trying to push the time is what my body really needs right now. Is
Yeah.
like it's lower time, but just doing them more often.
Mm-hmm.
Feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. After I did that really long breath hold with you, I mean, I felt unbelievable, but at the same time, like I felt pretty wiped out. Like,
Dude, your
yeah.
face was like like I think I joked to AJ or something. I was like, yeah, he looked a little pale. He definitely needed to eat or like drink some water, or like get replenished. And like I'm glad you had some fruit and stuff after that.
Yeah,
I was like, thank goodness he knows. But that's so that also though, that type of breath work where you're like slamming it, that's when you're gonna get your detoxing, more of your detoxing, more herxing. It's gonna be a little bit more painful, and there is a slower approach to it that you can take to not get like to herx less, to detox not as hard. Um, but for a lot of people, like it's they're gonna try it's trying to find that red line when you're when you're training and when to apply certain amounts of pressure into that red line, or if you don't know where that red line is, it's so important to kind of find it and find what works for you on a daily basis. It's wild because now I'm recognizing that there are certain things that influence my ability to hold my bolt over 3 minutes, like to a wild degree. Like these little things stack up. Literally, I hadn't made dinner yet, and I was doing an early dinner. I was sat down and decided to do some breath holds before I ate. I've made my food, just had it sitting, and I decided to do 3 breath holds. And the first one was my bolt score was only 32. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Like it's been hovering around 30. We usually most times before I even attempt breath holds. And then I was able to get it up. Like my first breath hold was like about a minute 2 seconds or something. And then the next one went up to minute 42, 45 or something, maybe even 47. I like didn't look at the time when I opened my eyes or whatever. And then I noticed as I opened my eyes, the sun literally came out of the clouds. And I was like, whoa, like light, literally light allowed me to go 40 seconds more than my previous one with no difficulty.
Wow.
I didn't get it like I got a lighter like maybe 2 light contractions during that time, which I was able to like fully kind of even within the breath hold like stay within and not like have any stress. And then I did another one for like 2 minutes and 20 seconds or something. And that was it. And then I just like ate dinner. It's like, okay.
Prep myself before I eat. It is, and then do it after, do it before, do it after. It's
I
like,
try not to do it after because like I'm usually too full, or like I need time. You need time, especially because I ate a little bit of a denser meal today. I've been implementing new stuff. I have been eating a little bit of cornmeal here and there, some
gotcha.
like high quality polenta
Heck yeah.
with some seeds and some herbs and stuff. It's been actually like I like cooking and I like making things. So
Yeah.
um yeah, it was really awesome. I had some polenta with some hazelnuts, walnuts, some oregano and dill, and a little bit of salt. It was fucking bomb.
It sounds delicious.
Primo.
I
um
definitely, I think I'm going to
So I still have meat in my freezer.
Yeah, same. I got one freaking steak from this really amazing farm that's out in Western Mass that I'm like, maybe when the world shuts down, I'll eat it or whatever.
I'm I'm well, I'm personally thinking that I'm gonna start to wane off the meat and use what I have left to do that. And then once it's gone, and I'm gonna go as mucus free as I can and just see what that's like for me. I'm in this stage where, like I said, I'm not going so hard with the breath holds. I'm doing a lot of them, and I'm being extremely aware of my breath throughout the day and trying to like lower everything. But I'm also doing a ton of movement.
Hmm.
Like I'm doing a ridiculous amount of training. So and
What's
I'm
your
trying to,
training been like? Is it like all go to stuff?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Doing like
100%.
reps and like full workouts.
Yes. I mean, between all the information that I received during the primal movement cert, which was very good. Um, but now returning to Dr. Brandon's course
Hmm.
and continuing with Dr. Brandon's course has just been unreal. And so, I mean, I've been working really hard at this. I had the motivation of pain in my knee. And like I've always, as a kid, I had the dream of being a professional athlete. And so like I'm honestly I'm at this place now where I see that that goal is actually a real like could be a reality if I
Hmm.
continue to put the work in. It's not that I would play a sport professionally, but that I could actually transform myself into a world-class athlete with the information that like we have at our disposal, plus the breath holds,
Hmm.
plus the breath holds. But so I'm really I'm going like, dude, I don't do it. I move so much. I just love it. And I've gotten away from even things that I loved. Like I would sit down and read a book in a few days, and I would do that. I would read like 20 books in 2 months. It would be like nothing. Now I'm not really sitting down and like doing a ton of reading. Like I just want to move my body. And so, and as soon as I smoke cannabis, dude, boom, I'll smoke or I'll take a few drips, and it'll be 45 minutes later and I'll start moving and I won't stop and I don't pay attention to the time. And it could be 3 or 4 hours. Like every morning I spend like 4 hours doing my practices. And it's just like I've been trying to build. I'm thinking that I'm building up and I need to like give my body a bunch of meat and a bunch of protein and like always have it fed. But what my breath scores and what my breath practice is telling me that I might actually be like stepping backwards from all the progress that I'm making when I'm ingesting a bunch of food that's making like it's causing my body to have to work harder to break it down, and it's also sort of bringing some dysfunction to my lymphatic system, and I can feel it. It's like it's having a more difficult time draining,
Hmm.
things like that. So I want to try to continue all the movement and all the practice, but bringing in now like a change of diet and see if I can still build and keep building like the connective tissue in my left knee from when it was ruptured, repaired, ruptured, removed, and then torn again. I want to see if I can continue to like rebuild that and even build muscle in my body, but not need to eat meat. I
Hmm.
think from what Brian says, seems like you can definitely do that.
Hmm.
But Brian's not necessarily a great mover. He's not
Yeah.
really like he's not trying to be a world-class mover. I'm sure his breath would allow him to go for a very long time. But like he's posted videos of him running. Have you seen him running?
Those are from before he started Yoda. I don't know if you know that.
Those are from a long time ago.
Mhm.
Well, even the post that he posted with Eric,
Yeah.
he's not doing the work. I mean, he's doing work, but it's not like the really nitty-gritty of it, of like Dr. Brandon's neurodevelopmental sequence, or even like the stuff that I learned with primal movement. Like Brian's there with his slant boards and his dumbbells and his Bosu balls. I'm like, dude, it's not the like that's not the way to go. It's really not the way to go.
Mm.
I don't know what your thoughts on that are, but
Yeah, I know that he's practicing. He'll be getting more into movement as the spring comes along. I know that he's been doing pretty much just straight walking holds all winter.
mm,
And his walking holds are getting like 4 or 5 minutes.
4 or 5 minutes walking.
So he'll get into summer and he'll be doing some hypercapnic like breath hold sprints, which I did some the other day. Holy shit.
Those are crazy, dude. I did those today.
Oh, you
The,
did? Okay.
the
There
first
are,
time.
okay. There's some cues. I don't know if you're familiar with like the what you're actually supposed to do with those because it's a little different. Um,
Dude, so I had 40 yards and I exhaled, clenched, and then I started running.
mm, okay. What was your response? Like how did you so because it's more about the after the breath with the breath hold sprints.
Mm.
How did you recover?
It was definitely like there was some because I did 8 of them, and there was some times when I could hardly make 40 yards and I had to let go, and it was like, I mean, I was always not nasal breathing, but it was like it wasn't
Hmm.
it was more difficult to keep myself like low, but I'm always able to bring myself there pretty quickly now. And
Were you able to recover within 6 breaths?
yes,
Okay.
I would say
So,
within 6 breaths, yes, I was very much recovered. Now, there's
so
moments.
yeah, sorry.
Go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Yeah.
Well, so there was moments in the middle of these breath holds where I thought I was gonna piss myself in the middle of one of the sprints.
Oh yeah, yeah, that'll happen.
I was a good thing I didn't have much food. I didn't eat anything because I probably would have shit myself too. But then it was incredible because a minute or two after I had done my sprints, I felt like I could go again. Like I felt like my recovery, my like spin around time was like reduced in half. Although in the moment I felt like, holy shit, this is crazy. But then it wasn't 2 minutes after I had finished that I was like, wow, I feel really good right now. I'm wondering what you think about that as well, like how fast you can recover.
So that's essentially like the purpose of why we're training breath holds in the first place is our ability to recover
Yeah.
quicker and reduce the amount of lactic acid buildup in our body so we don't
Mm,
feel it in our joints as well. So we're
mm,
bringing like when we do that type of work, we're bringing and we're slowing and speeding down like the air, and we're nasal breathing. The less we breathe after those moments, the more blood flow we're bringing to those areas because those are the stimulated parts of our body, right?
mm,
So the way you're supposed to train those, um, there's more to it. The like essentially the highest form of training those because you're essentially allowing yourself a lot of recovery time in between. The shortest way and the the way to like enhance that practice, um and the way that I do the breath hold sprints, you you sprint with an exhale, and I actually highly recommend you get like a little.
mm. Oh my God, that would be so helpful because then you could use your arms, but you need those fucking things, man. They're part of the engine.
highly recommend. Just a little like nose plug that you use for like swimming or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, I bring this with me when I do it. Uh,
Hard to like.
you just rip it off at the end of the 40 yards.
Well, you put tape on your mouth.
No, no, I'm still
Oh,
breathing through my nose. Yeah, yeah. You just pop it off at the end of 40 yards. You want to, at the end of 40 yards, you want to exhale everything out right away.
Question: Are you before you even start to move? Did you exhale everything?
No, it's still passive exhale.
So it's a passive. Okay, just a passive exhale, and then you clip and sprint.
When we do any breath hold in general, this is like our lung capacity, right? This is our normal breath. This is our passive inhale, passive exhale. So we're not at the top or bottom of our breath at any point. So there's going to be what's called residual lung capacity anytime we do a breath hold sprint. There's going to be just a like little bit of stuff left in there.
Yeah.
We can choose to breathe in or out at the end of a max breath hold. Sometimes breathing in, it's like a challenge in of itself to neurologically not like make that a pattern.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll bring more awareness to it. Like if you switch that up, like if you do a walking hold and decide these three I'm gonna breathe in after my hold, or these three I'm gonna breathe out after my hold. Like it's like a way to retrain your brain.
Yeah,
Just
for
become more
sure.
aware of it. But
I'm always inhaling.
yeah, so try exhaling.
Yeah.
And not only try exhaling, exhale fully, try and slow the speed of that. So that's where and this is what I noticed at first, the diaphragm can skip. So when you breathe out fully after exhaling and sprinting 40 yards, your first inhale is going to be like, but if you can slow that down to be like, your diaphragm is just like stretching, dude. And I have been sore for 3 days. Dude,
I believe it. I believe you.
my whatchamacallit, my psoas, my diaphragm, my neck and chest have all been like so fascially connected and like a little sore. I've been giving myself like a nice little massage at night, just kind of rubbing those areas. I remember afterwards, like that afternoon, I just touched my diaphragm. I was, ooh, it's tender. It's still a little tender, bro. Like this was three
That's
days.
wild, man.
This was Thursday, I think I did it. Or maybe it was Wednesday. That's Sunday now, so it's like I think I did them on Wednesday or Thursday. I can't remember.
Those are mad. Those are super powerful.
Yeah,
Super.
just be careful. Yeah, and like
You,
yeah, definitely. Like my breath holds were a little lower the next day, just because I didn't want to like my diaphragm was like needed the recovery time.
yeah,
Um,
totally.
but I've also been like lately, I've been doing a lot of movements as well, and
Mhm.
I've just been walking
Mm.
and lowering the like I've been getting in like anywhere from 4 to like 8,000 steps. When I go through these long walks, I'll grab my gum and just go and just like walk in a random direction until I get lost, and then I'll find my way back to something I know, and then I'll find my way home or whatever. And that I've been like, playing around with the speed of how fast I can walk within like all these micro movements. Like I'll start really slow, do micro movements, and make sure my diaphragm is connected and just breathe low and slow, low and slow as I'm building and just creating like little heat, little heat, little heat, little fractals. Like everything's just small fractal movements. Because I still have a lot of connective issues between my tissues.
Yeah.
So I'm just like taking this whole spring to like build that foundation. Yeah, like you're doing.
It's amazing. I mean, that's amazing. That sounds extremely meditative too.
Yeah, I'll bring my headphones sometimes and throw on a podcast, which is really great, too. But like, it is meditative for
Yeah.
sure. And I've like, it's funny. I just like let myself go, let my body take me where it wants to go. I find myself walking on patches of grass or long stretches of grass, and then sometimes I'll just start sprinting, or I'll start like jogging into sprinting, or like whatever it is.
Yeah.
But it's always starting slow into those speeds or into that connective tissue. It's interesting the type of work I've had done recently on in that by that quantum chiropractic doctor,
Yeah.
and he was talking about 0 point energy and the usage of certain affirmations help
Mm-hmm.
with specific muscle testing that he had done on me, specifically with my left hip flexor. Like, I don't know if you've been in the calls with me and Eric at any point where I'm like, my left hip's bothering me or whatever, and it had to do with
Mm-hmm.
fear of the future, just like some sort of anxiety. And then he gave me an affirmation: what can I do in the moment? What can I do in this moment? And anytime I felt like my hip was off or my ankle was off, I would just be like, what can I do in this moment? And then I would either slow down or like, you know, focus on how I'm rotating specifically in my chest and my pelvis. And then like I would fix it.
Yeah.
The pain would go away and I'd walk back into that that spiral mathematics,
Beautiful.
that energy. Yeah. So combining all that.
I think I've mentioned his book before, and you've heard of him. I'm sure Eric Goodman.
I actually haven't.
He
What's the book?
he's the one that created foundation training. And Hugo talks about that sometimes.
Okay.
Bam's into it too. Eric Goodman, he wrote a book, and it's his most recent one. I forget what it's called. It might be Foundations of Health. But he talks about
Foundation training is him.
he sets up his whole book based off of what you're describing. And that like
Redefine your core, conquer back pain and move with confidence, or is it true to form or foundations of health?
Foundations of Health is the book that I read. He bases it off of, he's the one I learned a ton about the endocannabinoid system from him because he dives in 50 pages worth of all the new science that's coming out. Very, very interesting. But he also talks about posture, movement, breath, cold therapy, and heat therapy, which are equally fascinating. But he talks about the 3 steps of curiosity, active adaptation, and then finding resilience out of that.
Mm-hmm.
And like always staying curious, and meeting pain or meeting discomfort with curiosity, with a question like, what can I do in this moment, or what's going on here?
Mm-hmm.
And then with that curiosity, being able to find the point of least resistance, or the move the body in such a way that it feels really good. And even if there's some like tightness or clicking or noises being made, it feels good. It feels like it's being massaged out, and like actively adapting towards the positive being a
Mm.
rather than like passively adapting, in the sense of like you're always adapting one way or the other, and staying curious, asking questions, and really diving deep into what the signals of your body are sending you is going to help you actively adapt towards the good. And over time, that's going to make you more resilient in any number of ways. That's the basis from which he writes that book.
Yeah.
And you talking about your hip reminded me of that, because it's the exact same thing that I do with my knee when I feel knee pain or I feel foot pain, is that process right there. And it's like the breath holds and the movements and doing them, the reps that we do, and the cannabis all help us to stay curious, be more curious, get more information from the body that allows us to be more efficient when we're adapting. And then over time, that just makes us so much more resilient. But anyway.
Yeah, the interesting thing about pain is that not feeling pain is the absence of pain, right? Not feel like, so when we're trying to navigate away from pain, we're looking for something similar to pain, or we're looking for a feeling, right? We're searching for a feeling because we're feeling something, and so we need to feel something different. It's not, that's not how it works. It's feeling nothing. That's what no pain is. It's not feeling something. It's not being mentally attached to something. I think that's one of like the deepest things I learned on my transition into health. Like I've mentioned this a couple times to like just a few people, but the place I'm coming from in terms of like my healing path and what I've had to go through. I don't talk about it too often, but basically I had an autoimmune issue that scarred like a certain part of my body that didn't allow me to walk without pain for 2 years.
Wow.
And I wouldn't wish this upon any guy.
Wow.
And it took like a mental brain switch, and it happened at a music festival when I was on a large amount of mushrooms, when I was dancing and feeling frequency and energy and vibration and working with that energy and working with movement within that energy and working with the what can I do to not feel pain? What can I do? And I practiced it, and I was able to practice it because I was in a space of healing. I was in the frequencies of curiosity. I was in the frequencies of all of that. And it was a click. It was a new neural pathway that I was like, oh, it's coming. Like I can feel the little guy trying to make a connection. And it's like I've always known that it just needed time. And it took like 2.5 years to not like really feel any pain. And that's like huge. Like people don't realize that it's not that we need to look for something, it's that we need to look for nothing and feel just like emptiness, or not emptiness, but just like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like,
Definitely know what you're trying to say.
yeah.
That's amazing. I didn't know that you were in chronic pain for 2.5 years.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was bad. Yeah, it was like an autoimmune issue that I started to develop through an infection, and then I got a scarring from it, and it damaged some nerves, and I was trying to do research on it, and the autoimmune stuff there wasn't any info about it 4 or 5 years ago. Like it was rare to have like an autoimmune issue. Now it's becoming more and more apparent. People are like understanding so much about how to actually deal with it. but I looked up the specific disease or whatever it is that I had, and only 2,000 people on the planet had it.
Oh my God.
So I was like, there's no information for me to figure out what the heck to do. And
Shit.
doctors didn't know what to do. They prescribed a freaking steroid that they prescribed a steroid, and then 2 months later I was like, I'm still in so much pain. I hate you guys. This didn't work. It made it worse. And they were like, oh, let's do an allergy test. I found out I was allergic to something in the steroid that they're giving me. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my goodness. That's when I gave up on modern medicine. I was like, you guys have no clue what you're doing. You're literally throwing darts in the dark.
Wow.
Like I was like, there's no way. There's no way I can put my trust in you guys. I have to be my own medicine man. I have to figure it out on my own. I have
Which
to
you've done, which is amazing.
yeah.
It's an amazing journey, dude.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I mean, I think it's like all of this stuff. This there's like this bubble, this Instagram bubble of health crazy fucking people. And you know what? It's a collection of people who have been in chronic pain, gone to the medical world, and weren't able to be helped. Like weren't able to get better, and making the decision, like seeing through the veil of modern medicine and then making the decision to go about it on their own. And that kind of energy, I think, attracts people.
100%.
And because there's so many more of us being attracted and like creating positive frequencies in our little group, that it's helping other people come faster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like fields of consciousness that are being created.
Huh. Yeah. I think I literally reposted something about somebody saying that today.
Yeah.
Like it's cool where it's evolving. And it's allowing people to not have to hit certain lows in order to hit certain highs, which is
Yeah.
unbelievable for ascension in general.
Totally.
And it's allowing the path to be like cleared almost. Um, like I think what does Brian call it? He called it like the dark night of the soul or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's from Christian mysticism, from John of the Cross.
And
Yeah.
that's so powerful. People come from that darkness and share their stories. It's it's what helps people who are in pain find teachers, and it helps teachers become better teachers in general, and share their knowledge. um yeah, it's been a journey, man. I'm like I hit that point, and then like I healed myself certain points as well, and I'm still on my own health journey to like find more of it.
Totally.
And now it's become like an obsession.
It kind of is, right?
And now it's like it's the curiosity, it's the playfulness, it's the playground of health,
Totally.
and that it sparks more um just better vibrations in general to just be a part of.
What
And
else is there to do? Like anymore, there's no higher good that I feel. I don't feel any better than when I'm like really working towards this thing.
yeah,
No,
which is why like I'm not playing video games right now with a bunch of people, and why I'm like I was just doing some work on my computer, like just on some presentations and stuff that I want to do for my course, but also just like keeping this Zoom open for friends and stuff. And like,
I appreciate you talking to me, man.
yeah, dude, I wanted you to tap in. I'm glad you.
Fucking always love being able to connect with you.
Yeah, you're down in Virginia, right?
I'm in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, that's right, Pittsburgh.
I'm not too far from you.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I gotta find out a way to we gotta connect in person or something. I
Oh
might
my God.
I have some friends in Virginia that I might try and connect with this summer, or maybe this like this late fall or whatever, but I'll let you know because I might try and drive down there and I might pass through.
Uh, Please let me know for
Yeah,
sure. I think it would be so cool. I know you're going to that retreat with Brian
yeah.
coming up, which is going to be so cool. New York's not too far from
Yeah,
me. We could you go to New York, I'll go to New York. We'll meet there. We'll
yeah.
talk. We'll text Brian. Hey, Brian.
Hey Brian, what's up? Yeah, yeah. I'll probably try and do another combo session this summer. Um, I don't know if you're into that. Have you considered trying that
What is it?
combo?
Say it one more time.
KAMBO.
Oh, oh, I would definitely do that, especially after listening to Brian talk about it today. I didn't know what it
Dude,
was.
so the practitioner she used, I've used twice now.
That's that's what you're getting that treatment. That's
Yeah,
fucking
and
cool.
she's in the Telegram group as well. Her name's
No way.
yeah, yeah. She's incredible. She's amazing. She's going down to she's doing some traveling, I think, to San Diego or something soon, or maybe down to Peru. I know she's planning on doing another dieta, which is when they spend time with the frogs and stuff. Um, but she's incredible. I'll probably try and do one more session with her this year. I think I need not that I need, but I think I want to do one more session. Just because I'm still working on a lot of stuff. Uh in terms of my thyroid and everything that I'm dealing with that, um, which is just the awareness that I'm having with my body as I utilize this medicine and not go back to synthetic medicine is it's fascinating. It's definitely a big transition. Um, just being aware of some of like the side effects, having the awareness of the awareness, you know.
Mhm. Yo,
But
Eckhart Tolle is all about awareness of awareness. It's this whole thing. He's like, forget everything else. Just fucking, have the presence, brother.
did I tell you, like, I haven't had a chance to tell you, but, and I've talked about it on a couple of my podcasts, but I had a psychedelic experience with the breath and the combo.
When?
Like, so I did a session on that weekend that I saw the week of the new year. So I went to New York. I saw an iridologist on Tuesday, which was 3/21/23. So the whole week was a palindrome, by the way. So gonna
It
throw that in there.
was a good
Uh,
week.
Tuesday was iridologist. Wednesday was acupuncturist and chiropractor. The acupuncturist is a guy whose third eye is open, so when he hits the points, he knows exactly where to go.
That the same guy Brian sees?
Mhm. And then I saw a combo on Thursday, and
Damn.
yeah, it was a wild week of healing, just incredible. But like basically, uh, that parasite passed in a certain part of my body, got ripped out of part of my gut, literally where my sacral energy was, where it got passed and I did that work with the chiropractor, and that got passed. And the combo, the way it works is it gets you drink 2 to 3 liters of water like right before you have the medicine administered through, like they burn off like the outer layer of epidermis. It's very, and then they just like peel it back, and then they put like a little resin dot from the back of they scrape the back of the frogs, and they get the resin from them, and then they dry it on sticks and bring it to the US, and that's how they apply it. They like create little resin balls that they kind of like put on those dots that they burn the skin. So it enters your bloodstream really quickly, goes through your lymphatic system, drains, forces you to purge in some
Yeah,
capacity.
you feel like really hot, all that
Oh,
stuff.
super, super hot all across your spine, all across your like your neck and your even your chest. You can feel your heart rate increase.
Wow.
So I felt all of that, and I threw up a bunch, and then she flips them halfway through the ceremony and sprays them with water so that you get like kind of a second like dose. And normally you like kind of throw up again or whatever. And this time it made its way through. So it didn't need to go up and out, it went through the energy. And all throughout the whole thing, I would let my body throw up from a place of a straightened spine, breathing cadence.
Mm.
So like my body was relaxed. I didn't have any attachment to the feelings that my body was feeling in order to purge. Like I wasn't like forcing myself to throw up. I wasn't hunched over, causing any blockages in my body, like structural blockages, which end up being emotional blockages. Like, like everything was centered. And then it decided to make its way through the other way. And it pooled in that space where the parasite got ripped out of, like literally pooled in that space. And I started to feel like I started to slow down my breath, and I started to slow it down to like air hunger, to like the almost to a point where I wasn't breathing. And then like all the blood in my face, in my chest, and like went to that space and I could feel it. So I just like let myself experience vasodilation and like let all the blood pool in that space to do the healing. I let I also set like a beautiful intention with the frog prior, like seeing it in a space of light and joy and
Oh,
love.
so important.
All of this,
The most important.
yeah, honestly, the most important. So the respect and the love was there, and the energy exchange was there for me and the frog to both accept and give the healing.
It's
Um,
beautiful.
and it, when you are starting to pass out, or if you don't have enough oxygen in your brain, you get those little stars.
Yes.
So my vision got dark. More of those stars started to pop up like crazy, all blue and yellow and white lights surrounding each star. And then some of the stars started to spiral.
Mm.
My vision, or my mental awareness, went down to that space. So I feel like I was like envisioning when I closed my eyes to that space. And I still was able to hold my spine up like this to a point where like I was almost passed out. And she came over and just made sure I like didn't like actually fall over. But I was like I was fine like sitting on my spine, and letting that like the weight of my body like keep me up, my spine straight. You know what I mean? Like how you can kind of float there.
Yes.
And then I didn't breathe for like, I don't know how long it was, felt like eternity. And it like my breath got minimized to a point where I wasn't breathing. And then the second my body told me to breathe, I started to slowly bring the breath back up into cadence breathing. And then I was fully reoxygenating, realkalining my blood, and rebalancing my nervous system. Um,
Shit, dude.
and then I like took a little nap and stuff, but it was so powerful, dude. It was so powerful.
Yeah, dude, that is super fucking powerful. It's amazing the way you're able to describe it right now. You're so deeply conscious in that moment, even though you are on the
Yeah,
brink of
fully
passing
aware,
out,
fully
but
aware,
you're
no fear.
so
Yeah,
aware,
yeah, yeah.
which is a fucking amazing. And I know that feeling of like sometimes it happens when I stand up and I've just been on the ground for a while and I get super lightheaded.
Yeah, you
And
just gotta breathe into your body a little bit. You just gotta take a nice deep
yeah,
breath.
but I know that feeling of like I'm going to pass out. Like I'm going to pass out right now. But then just acknowledging that, but bringing yourself to the breath or just stabilizing the structure of the body and not passing out, but like getting very close to that.
Mm-hmm.
But man, oh man, dude, you like the psychedelic work, which is such amazing work. The way that I just heard you describe, I know Kembo's not it's not psychoactive,
It's not psychoactive in general. It's not supposed to be.
but
It's
that sound, I mean, what you just described to me sounded extremely right. Like, I mean, in
so
in a lot of ways it did, and it seems like your training with the breath enabled you to do to be so much more tapped in to like when it reached that part of your
Which is why I want to potentially get into like teaching this stuff in combination with other modalities, because the breath
Oh,
is essential to understand
100%. 100%.
from this baseline point. Like, yeah, you get it, dude. Yeah. And
No,
like the work can be done and amplified.
yes.
Because especially if we're working with plant or amphibian medicine, like even ayahuasca, like even the endocannabinoids, like all of this stuff. I haven't used cannabis in a while.
You work in a hemp shop. Is that not true?
I do, but the
Work in a hemp shop. You work in a fucking hemp shop,
the
dog.
way that most of those products are created don't involve this type of energy, and I don't
I hear
feel
you.
aligned with it unless it does.
I hear you. I hear you. So wait, let's come back to that because you asked me about that, and I have access to medical grade stuff. So the stuff that I take is being taken care of about the best that you can take care of anything.
Hmm.
It's high end. It's extremely expensive. I don't have a card, but my dad does.
Hmm.
My dad and I bond over
Yeah,
it.
love it.
But I'm sure, I mean, it's not like Ascended Health or what they're doing there. I'm sure it's not like that.
Hmm.
Anyway, continue. Good,
Which,
please.
yeah, I mean that's that in and of that in of itself is why I want to like potentially look into getting some of my own scalar devices and the stuff that you can use to zap your food with, or zap your like knee with, or zap your like whatever. Like I don't know how it works yet, but I'm looking into trying to get some sort of device or something like that.
Yeah.
Because I know it has an effect on everything. But also at the same point, like there's you can do it yourself too. You have
Hmm.
the power to do it yourself. You just have to like take the time to create the intention around it. Um, and utilize your words, saying things out loud, creating the vibration and the energy. Like that experiment that talks about like writing down "I hate you" or "I love you" on a bowl of rice that you, or like a little cup of rice that you put in a thing, and which one decomposes faster or whatever, or grows mold faster, and it's like always the one with the hate on it.
Mm.
That type of energy is quantum, is scalar. So like I get that, but I also just want to work with like some of the higher frequencies in general. Um, which is like, I'm utilizing all the stuff from Ascended Health right now.
Yeah.
Um, but
I
yeah,
gotta check out the phytoplankton. That's gonna be
they have some other products too that you could try that are I mean, well, there's a few that are just as expensive, and then there's some that are like a little less. They have like a Shilajit, chocolate Shilajit that's relatively inexpensive that I've been using sometimes too. I'll just take a little spoonful. Um,
do you just eat the plankton
oh yeah,
and it's not in a pill. You're not like swallowing it. You
correct.
just
It's a powder, and I just like take a. I usually keep it like I have like a teaspoon thingy. Where'd it go? I had it on my desk somewhere.
little
Um,
tea.
yeah, a little half a tablespoon. I'll just take some and just throw it in my mouth and chase down with some Berkey water or whatever. I got this other stuff called prana powder.
Mm.
Um, you just have to like send them an email and be like, I'm interested in this product, but I didn't see it on your website. Wondering if you have any in stock. The lady's like super nice. But it's got like all these Amazonian herbs. It's got I got like a whole PDF document talking about like telomeres and like how it extends the length of those, and like how it has a velvet elk antler,
Mm.
which so they go up to the mountains where the elks fight and like get the broken antlers and then go and like shave it down into a powder and throw it into this mixture of stuff. And
These
it's
people are
got like
wild, man.
it's got all these properties to it that are like so connected to health and the circadian rhythms of the earth and the energy surrounding the seasons, and because they fall off naturally, like they shed their elk antlers every year, so it's also very humane too. It's also part of just
Yes,
like the life and death cycle of that, and it's very healthy.
totally.
So, and it has a
Super
lot to
cool.
do with the production of DHT, which is the precursor for some of the hormone stuff.
Mm,
Like I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's the precursor for testosterone and estrogen.
mm,
Um, and the balancing of those in natural ways.
very cool.
Yeah. So,
Oh,
what are some of the new stuff you've been learning through Brian's course, or is it Brian? Did I say that right?
true. Um, Dr. Brandon.
Brandon. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm only I haven't gotten like crazy far because I was spending a lot of time doing the primal movement stuff,
Hmm.
fucking ton. But since that finished, I've deep dived Dr. Brandon's course, and I'm in months 4 through 5. So like still at the very beginning.
It's like a 12-month course, right? Or is it eight?
It's
Something?
it's more than 12 months. He takes you all the way to 5 years. So
Wow.
he takes you the whole way. And right now he gave right now I'm practicing. I'm trying to do like 3 to 5 rounds of the flow that he gave for this section, because he says master these before you move on. So I'm not moving on, even though I could, but like I haven't even mastered the things in supine. Like he has um ipsilateral extensions and contralateral extensions. So you're in supine happy baby. And you're you're here and you're doing these extensions with your leg.
Mm-hmm.
Doing is you're just playing with the hips and like bows and corners. So I'm gonna pull my foot up and I'm gonna bow, and I'm gonna look and see if I can create some engagement and length through my right leg here.
Mm-hmm.
If I can get it all the way straight, then I'm gonna bow and pull my left foot in. So I'm gonna really bow and I'm gonna come over. Most of my weight will be on my left side, and I'm gonna corner my right leg and I'm gonna side bend into it.
Mm.
And I'm gonna pull a bunch of length, and then I'm gonna release and switch to the other side.
Wow. Yeah.
This, like, I haven't been able to consistently get my legs straight corner and get my kneecap to be 22.5 in. Like,
Mm.
I'm still working on pulling length through here. But that's the ipsilateral, and then he's got a contralateral, and then he's got the straddle, which is out. And each one comes with a single and a double. And then like he's got it set up so beautiful that he gives you a bunch of stuff in supine, and then he gives you these moves on how to roll, like babies, how they roll from supine to prone. So you're practicing all these different rolls, and then you're on prone. And I'm at the point now where I'm lifting my arms and my legs off the ground. So I don't have my knees on the ground anymore
Mm-hmm.
in in tummy time, which is super fucking challenging. Like tummy time for me, I think I've progressed faster with supine than I have with prone.
Mm.
It's a lot. I mean, like all that work in the back and trying to get the extension out of the neck and keeping ribcage pelvis alignment that whole time is not an easy thing to do. So,
I have a friend that does some of that initial supine work that you just mentioned, but
yeah.
it's assisted stretching.
What do you mean?
So he will help you create resistance by pulling it in those opposite directions. And then you pull, and like it's like assisted stretching, but first
Yeah.
he works on doing a little fascia release. He calls it, yeah, it's the PNF stuff. It's proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation. So he'll find where the fascia has like knots, or like isn't smooth, and where it can't, like sometimes the fascia feeds into certain areas, and that's where like you'll get like the sort of gristle in those spaces. So he'll work on like creating that smooth fascia just by heating it up, like by like pressing at a certain point, by utilizing like almost creating an energy exchange in terms of the pulse of his body to a person's body. So it's like a form of what's called jinjutsu, basically, where you match the rhythm of your heartbeat to that person's like knee or shoulder, or whatever he's working on. So like, and then that's done through, through the parasympathetic activation through the breath. So it's always slowing the exhale longer than the inhale. And some people's nervous systems are too jacked up to even kind of like handle this type of work. But he's done it on me a couple times, and it's been pretty wild. So it's like you get like this neuromuscular connection, and then he'll have you like put resistance against him as he lowers you or raises you into a certain position. So you're able to break apart that fascia, and like then like be able to utilize. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've never thought of it that way.
Yeah. Because you're doing it to yourself by using your hands against your foot, right?
Right.
So having somebody else do it in certain positions, yeah, he's taught me like a little bit of it. And I was doing some of that on myself. For one of my, like, I injured my knee last July doing some jujitsu. Some kid kind of fell on it, and I heard like a weird pop, and it was like inside the right on the back. Like I don't know if it was like LPL, or like one of them felt like a weird pop.
Yeah.
And then I started doing a little bit of that type of work, plus some of the exhale breath holds with like a little bit of jogging, and that like pushed a bunch of blood into that area and like really healed it really quickly. And I don't have any issues.
Dude, I've got to get like that swimmers thing. I'm sure I can find it.
Oh yeah, it's like $6 on Amazon. We'll send. I'll send you a link.
Yeah, send me a fucking link, brother.
I think I have one right here. Hold on.
It's gonna be great. I was honestly thinking about getting like I know they have masks that you can put on and it'll like it'll cut like your oxygen intake in half. But
Oh, are you talking about the oxygen advantage stuff?
yeah.
Yeah, I've looked into that. I think it's good and it's bad. Like relying on certain tools like that detract from your natural ability to control certain things.
Mhm.
Something as simple as like this, like it's like a little nose clip.
So simple.
It it just like allows you to do more biomechanically, where you like it, like the trade-off in terms of the benefits gave you, as opposed to like the negative adaptations of holding your nose while you're trying to sprint. It's just
Right.
so much, like you're gonna get so much more from it.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean you get that. Yeah.
I cannot wait. Yeah. Definitely get
Any
that.
like fascia work on yourself? Do you do any massage work?
Um, I've been doing a lot of massage work before, but I haven't been doing so much um other than just being on the ground 24/7. Because I definitely feel like just resting in different ground positions will like do that fascial work.
Mm,
Dr. Brandon has a whole section of like myofascial helpful things, and I haven't even looked in that yet.
mm,
But I think the biggest thing that from his course that's helped me is he has a whole course that comes with the bigger course on fixing your feet.
mm,
And my feet were the origin of my meniscus tears. It was the way that I was using them and collapsing, and I didn't have tensegrity in my feet.
mm,
But he does such a good job with like building you up, taking it slow and building you up, that like my experience of using my feet has totally transformed. And that's what's really transformed like my legs. Because my legs have gotten a lot more muscle on, my connective tissue's healing, my left knee, I don't have pain anymore. I'm able to move better. And it's all about the feet for real. Really does
yeah,
start there. So
yeah,
like that course in and of itself is worth it.
mm,
But then on top of everything else, and I haven't like I'm saying, I'm in month 4 and 5. Like I haven't even done a quarter of the course yet.
yeah, that's crazy. I'll have to look into doing some of his stuff. Eric's getting more advanced with some of his work too. Because he's been working with movement and
Yeah.
different concepts. It's been really cool.
I learned a ton from Eric for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, those calls are always fun too.
Yeah, did I miss those calls? You guys got to send me a link just once, just once. Oh, come on. Eric probably wouldn't be too super happy about that, but
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
I didn't want to. I just didn't want to continue to pay almost $200 a month to do it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's a lot.
It's all good.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
It's an energy exchange for sure.
it's an energy exchange, and
There's there's some
yeah.
new people in there. I bought it when I had when he did the for life thing.
Oh yeah, right. And that's totally worth it. I mean, you have full access forever.
Mm-hmm.
I wish, dude. I wanted him to offer me something like that so bad because I would have taken it so fast. But
Mm-hmm.
I think he was pretty content with the guys that he had gotten on that, which were you, Hugo,
No,
AJ.
Hugo wasn't on it.
No way.
Yeah. And he stopped coming too recently. Um,
I mean, Hugo really drove a lot of that evolution in the community through like the information that he would give Eric, even with Dr. Brandon's work.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, especially Dr. Brandon's work, that was Hugo who like found that course and was like, dude, you got to do supine and prone in these different ways.
Mm-hmm. I think I like Hugo. Yeah, I miss him a little bit. He's uh he's an interesting guy.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy for sure. His
He's got a lot of information and he's talks very eloquently about it.
dude, yeah. I hear it, yes. Yeah, he's an incredible being. If it just like we know like you know him pretty well. You've spent a lot of meetings with him. Maybe you don't know him very well. Maybe
Hmm.
we don't know him very well. But
Yeah.
like just like taking him at face value, he's a very striking like incarnation. Whatever's going on there with that dude's energy, like he's younger than me.
Yeah.
I'm pretty young.
21 or something, right?
Yeah, like he's he's a pretty special human being.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm glad I like the connections we're all making with these people are fantastic through social media. It's like the wildest thing.
It's the wildest thing.
Like, yeah, I have it's funny because like I'll go out in Boston and stuff and like meet people or hang out with new people or like just even go to a show and I don't feel the type of energy and vibration that I do in a simple call like this. Like it's not the same.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's true. We're sharing each other right now.
Yeah, yeah. Have you I want to hear about you got a gene key reading, right? Or
That's
human
correct.
design reading with Kara.
Yes.
Yeah,
Kara's awesome
tell
too.
me
She's
about it.
another.
She
She's
is
a
amazing, right? She knows what she's doing. She's getting
yes.
better at it too. She's starting to do like groups and stuff.
Wow. Yeah, dude, I thank you for turning me on to her too and giving me even a little bit of a nudge to reach out to her.
Hmm.
Really happy I did. I've still got to take the time to really deep dive, but I love I loved reading what I did read. I thought Richard Rudd is a genius. I was blown away by by his writing. I was blown away by the concept, the framework of a shadow, a gift, and
City.
a city.
Sit
Yeah,
up. Sit up.
siddha, a siddha. That was all super cool, and I definitely want to dive into that, and I want to learn about yours too. I think it would make sense, like why we connect if we looked at some of that.
Wait, yeah. Do you have yours by any chance? We can take a
Not
look at it.
right now, not right now. Next time
Okay.
we call, let's do it because
Yeah.
this it's past my bedtime and
Okay.
I need to go to sleep.
I
But
actually probably should as well.
let's go to sleep. But dude, this was awesome. I really appreciate you sending me the link.
So you should check out I put it the YouTube video in the Telegram chat.
Okay.
Me and Katie did like we came together for like an hour and a half to talk about the navigating the north and south nodes in
Okay.
relationship to eclipse and moon energy and how they connect with the human design and the gene keys and which gene keys to kind of look at in order
Okay.
to set intentions around these powerful energies and to
Okay.
understand one your where your ancestral body is coming from, so where you're holding on to potential like gene key stuffs in your unconscious, and then where that's moving to in terms of your life purpose and how to like obtain and work with your alignment in your true purpose here on earth. um
I will definitely be watching that.
Yeah, there's like a little YouTube link in there. If you scroll up a little bit, it's got like a blue and a or not blue, like a purple and a yellow like piece of artwork that I did from like a while ago. Um, you can like go through it and then so we went through the importance of all that stuff and then like the resources of how to connect to these different nodes and there's different ways to connect through the resources. So there's like basic astrology. She went through like the like the houses and all that stuff, the human design and the gene keys. So there's all these different tools, and you can kind of resonate which one you want to follow. But like the first like chunk or part of it's like really cool. She dropped some awesome knowledge in there, and so it's really great.
That's what I need. I need some guidance when going about this because there's a lot of
It's a
information.
lot.
It's a lot to just be like thrown and say, figure this out.
Yeah, so she next to the video there's a PDF and it's only like a page and a half, 2 pages or something, with links to find all these different resources. So like
Okay.
if you go if you just download that PDF, you'll have access to like all that stuff and where to go and like what to kind of do with it. Or
Beautiful.
so like if you have questions about it, definitely hit me up.
I will
Or
definitely.
anybody watching this, I don't know, I might keep this for as a recording. I might cut it up. I haven't decided yet. Um, yeah, but this was a killer conversation, and I'll let you go. I gotta get going soon too. But
Sleep well tonight, brother.
I will. Raymond, it was a pleasure. Uh,
Pleasure, man.
yeah, we'll connect soon too. Well, I
Yes.
definitely it'll probably be sometime maybe next week or whatever, but
Okay.
um or maybe the weekend after or something. But I want to get together with like a bunch of people who have their charts ready and like so we can figure out like what it all means and how we can relate
Yeah.
to each
So
other
helpful. That'd be
and
so helpful.
how and like if there's anything we can all do in terms of homework in order to like understand which gene keys cross over with each other, or like if there's certain things in our nodes that can help us understand like just
Oh,
energy
dude,
in
that'd be so
general.
good. That'd be so good.
Yeah, yeah. It's
That's
gonna
what
be
you
like
said.
Katie called it like a gene key book club or something.
Yes,
So like
dude.
I'll have to do that. We'll do that like once a month or something, or like once every moon cycle. We'll do that on like new moons or some shit. It'll be cool.
Let's go.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, brother. I'm
All right,
peace out.
dude. Yeah, good stuff. I'll talk to you later.
Talk to you soon.